When this soccer team plays an offensive strategy, they win with 30% of the time and they lose 55% of the time. And when they play a defensive strategy, they win 20% of the time and they lose 30% of the time. Now, to find the probability that the team draws the match under each strategy, we can look at the offensive strategy first. Win means 30%. A loss means 55%. And therefore, drawing it, that means both teams win at the same time, would be 100%, take away 30%, take away 55%, which equals then to 15% for a draw. And 15% is the probability of drawing using the offensive strategy. Let's have a look at defensive strategy. So a win will result in 20% and a loss will result in 30%. So therefore a draw is going to be 50% of probability of drawing in a defensive strategy. So now we can calculate the expected number of points per game under each strategy. So we need to draw a table under each strategy. And so we need to have, first of all, the result, which will be either a win or a draw or a loss. We will also need the number of points, and we also need the probability. So that will be our x value, and we need the probability of getting that value. And so a win is expected to give us 3 points from the league tables, which are above, and it also a probability of 0.3, 30%. So a loss gives us no points at all, and a probability of getting a loss is 0.55, and we take this from the above data. And now lastly, the draw gives us 1 point from above, and we're told that it's also 0.15%. And in the same way, we could do the table for the defensive strategy with the result, the points, and the probability. And so we have a win with 3 points from the league tables, and that probability will be 0.2%. A loss will give us no points at all, and a probability of 0.3%, and a draw with 1 point and a probability of 50%. And you might have seen that I've used decimals instead of percentages because they need to add up to 1. And now we can calculate our expected values by adding these up. So it will be 3 times 0.3 plus 0 times 0.55 plus 1 times 0.15. And this gives us an expected value of points of 1, which means that using overall this strategy will give you a draw. And if we use the defensive strategy and calculate this, we get 3 times 0.2 plus 0 times 0.3 plus 1 times 0.5, and this becomes 1.1, which also looks like this strategy will lead to a draw. And so in the long run, it's neither better or worse for the team to play an offensive or a defensive strategy. Now, should the strategy change if the teams are awarded 4 points for a win instead of 3 in both cases? So I've redrawn this table, but this time I've awarded 4 points to the win. So we need to calculate this again. And the only thing we'll change here is this first value over here, and we'll get a value of 1.35. Do the same thing for the offensive. and we get a value of 1.3. Now both of them are pretty well similar points per game, but it may be better for them to be playing the offensive this time, as it is just a slightly higher points. So I hope that was useful.